the most hidden, I guess, city that all the secret societies have been, seeking for thousands of years. And one of the reasons it's very well protected is because this is the city that guards the tree of life. And we do
Right.
read in the book of Genesis that there are two trees, right? There is the tree of good and evil, and there's the tree of life. Well, the tree of life is what is related to the tree of immortality, which has a lot to do with light body as well, light body activation. So, the city of gold is perhaps the greatest kept secret that everyone's after right now. Everyone's trying to access it, and they have been for thousands of years. And I do believe that the second root race, which was a physical race of immortals, who are, in a sense, our ancestors, were the guardians of that, and they still exist within the center of the earth.
Yeah, and the thing is when I did this channeling process, it was overwhelming to see it. So I'm trying to. I sent you the pictures. Oh boy, let me do it this way. Well, it should be fine on my end of things. And I just did new pictures on this information. So you can keep talking about it, and I'll grab up the pictures in a second here.
Sure. So basically, we are considered part of the fifth root race. Prior to our root race, we had the Polarian root race, right? This is all revealed within the secret knowledge of the esoteric tradition. And then we had the Hyperborean root race. And bear in mind, guys, that these are all different races that contain different strands of DNA. And then after the Hyperborean root race, which was known as the second root race, we also had the Lemurian root race. And then after that, we have the Atlantean root race. So we are currently ending the root race after the Atlantean root race, which is known as the Aryan root race. So we are currently in the process of transitioning from the Aryan root race to the, I believe it's called the Moravian root race, which is going to be marked by the rise of the sixth golden age. And then we still have one more to go, which I strongly believe will take effect after the millennium, after that last battle against the AI timeline.
Right.
Which will finalize what esoteric knowledge calls the 7 evolutionary stages of consciousness that humanity goes through, or the beings of the earth go through, before they are settled for all time and all eternity within the realms of, everlasting glory and light and life, where, we are never going to experience a dark age again after we complete the 7 evolutionary cycles. So right now we're currently ending the 5th, and we're about to enter the 6th. Now, many of you guys are probably thinking, well, what does it have to do with the rising city of gold? It has everything to do with that, guys. It's all prophecy. There are such thing as a hidden, or what they call the secret prophecies, that have only been maintained within the records of the secret societies. And part of that prophecy is that at the end of the cycle, at the end of what they call the great cycle, which is what we're ending now, that the Hyperboreans would emerge once again. And from what I've been told, Jenny, is that the Hyperboreans also have third dimensional avatars on the surface. That's why I don't believe in this whole concept of an alien God savior that comes from the sky. I believe that the starseeds are the disclosure. The starseeds are what everyone's been waiting for, because the starseeds are a reflection of the Hyperborean root race, which is the original immortal race. That exists.
And I think that's the thing that people understand, that it was always us to do this, to ascend, to open our minds, to reach to a level of understanding, to create. That's the thing. And I think people still have that in their mind. There's going to be some hero, and it's like, you're the hero. Within you are the hero to ascend into this process. That's the whole thing. That's what ascending is, a collective of energy, a collective of souls going up, process of doing this. And I think our society has gotten to the point that there's always going to be a hero that does it. You know what I'm saying? Instead of anything else. So that's the process, is the fact that it's us. It's this generation. It's the people that are awake, the ones that are walking into this process. We are the ones that have to step up. There's not one individual that's going to save everything. It's a collective of energy, a collective of awakening, and that's from high above, knowing that we have to meet them halfway, period, in the process of everything. Totally. So you can probably link that. You can probably put that link into your Instagram, and they'll probably just follow in. Anyway, I was going to tell you. So this is going to be hard to explain. So there's a tree at the bottom, you see, and then the root and the branches go all the way up. And people are, but all these, you got to look at this in a 5D format. You're looking at this is so bright, so much strength, and I see all these pyramids. You would look at this arising in the sky. It'd be so bright. But I'm looking at it from a view, being able to see the detail. So they showed me always the tree. It's the seed and the bark of life. It's the nutrients of life from here. This is important. People always think it's the top of the tree, but it's the bark of the tree for where this comes from into the center of Earth. So this view, it'd be arising, and you would see all these colors of reflection formed in the sky, in a very huge, rising up. And so each person's view would probably, at a different conscience state, would see this differently. That's the thing. At each conscience level, you're looking at things differently. But I was just like, all they showed me, there's like, inside there's after pyramids, because they're showing them rising together with the city, and so to our original Earth, the soil, the root of the tree was always very, very, very important, and that will rise with the city. They're showing that potential of that too. So, and if you think about it, the bark of the tree is what neutralizes this Earth, that makes everything grow. So it does make sense, and I didn't put it together until they showed me as it comes together. And then these crystal cities, what they're showing, I'm going to go through all of this, but the crystal cities and the colors, and they're showing the pyramids at their original form, which is always the original energy source is right at the top. Now that it's together. See, these are all crystal. Every part of it. So they're showing in different views of mindsets, you're going to see different things in the sky. You know what I'm saying? So, just like these crafts that I showed coming out of Antarctica, this is our world. This is one of the coming out in and out of a zone, and then this would be the craft. And these are, they call them organic ships. They're so massive, so big. These one precisely were coming out of Antarctica.
Right.
Coming from the ground up, out of the ocean above, and how big they are. They're massive.
They are, yeah. And even Admiral Byrd talked about a continent beyond Antarctica. And I think he had the opportunity to get a glimpse of these inner Earth continents. So it's not necessarily that the Earth is flat, it's that the Earth is hollowed. So what he did is, I believe that he was able to access this, one of the portals in the Antarctica region, where he was able to witness these other continents that currently our surface world has not had access to in thousands of years. And that makes perfect sense, because now they're all forcing, due to the continuous vibrational frequency of the planet, it's almost like these inner Earth societies or cities are actually being forced to come to the surface, because the frequency is almost just ripe for them to once again surface. Right. And it makes perfect sense.
So this was another one that was a big one under, they precisely had me draw the mountains right under Antarctica. And this is more of a round, and it was more self-contained. It had everything that it needed. It didn't need anything from any other source. And this was definitely in the under Antarctica area. So everything that we're, that's discovering, everything's underneath us now. The truth is underneath us. The ground, and going down in levels of understanding. I mean, that's been hidden for a long time.
Right.
That's the thing about this. It's just a process of the fact that it's going to arise up, and then it'll show itself in that imprint of things. And that's the whole situation is with this golden city. The golden air, the golden timeline, everything is. So it would make sense for this to be risen, and the fact that there, with our government and everything else, there was a time that, all that had more control. And what I'm seeing is the over creators and the creators, they're like, we got this, we're in control of the situation now. And like I said, I sent you those blocks, those box that I keep seeing, and how they're loading up artifacts that don't need to be here no more, They said they're taking every crumb, everything they can, and that these carry a frequency. I'll find it. And you can't get very close to them at all, period, because it's impossible. Let me see if I can find it here. But it's not.
Yes. Which beings are in Antarctica? There's actually, from what they've uncovered, guys, they believe it's an ancient race that's been around for 2 million years, and they came about from the super Earth called Tiamat, and it's related to a race of giants, actually.
Yes.
And some people, call them different beings, and those are actually the ones with the elongated skulls. And so they have recently unearthed in Antarctica skeletons that are anywhere from like 14 feet tall to 36 feet tall, which is pretty awesome. And from what I gathered, they also found ancient ruins of these huge door structures and infrastructures that were actually designed for people that are up to 24 to 36 feet, which is mind-blowing. Members of the secret space program, which are continuously excavating Antarctica, are just surprised with all the evidence of these enormous beings, and some of the facilities that they found is just mind-boggling. A chair is the size of a building, so I could imagine how big these people were.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy how they are. And then they showed me the curvature. We're talking about doorways that are curved, and you're walking through these caverns, and you're seeing they're so massive. And the thing, like I see in when I go up to the craters, is the detail on everything. Like the walls have details, the ground is detailed, and everything has a story. It's the writing you're seeing this. I mean, these things they're massive. It's not something you can just get rid of and, remodel it. It would take forever to do it. And when I did the giants under Iran and Iraq, and how they were moving in a collective together, carrying a type of a vessel that they did not want man to be attached to, did not want man to have it, and carrying that and making sure that it was going to be moving around until it was presented to the right being. Not a human at all. And so they were carrying devices, and a lot of those giants, some of them were very intelligent or not. And then some of them, like, people understand that the fallen angels, made a choice to come down in females. And they knew that was not supposed to happen whatsoever. It was against everything.
Right. Yeah, it was an abomination.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was an abomination. And that happened, then you have these different versions of giants. They're co-creating. Some of them are a lot stronger. Some of them have different knowledge. Some of them have different features. Like this one I drew back then, and then I matched it up to one after I drew it that looks like something off of Google. And then the device, like we talked about the rods of God. I couldn't understand what this was for a while. And then they showed me Zeus when I channeled that information on how he was coming back after one rod that was important. And that was pushed down in a mountain with another massive giant. So we're in the times of seeing all this surface. That's what's amazing. Right. And we got TV distracting us from all what is surfacing around us and what's coming to the surface of our rivers and oceans.
Right. Somebody said Zeus is an amazing being. Well, do you guys want to know who his Sumerian name was? The ancient Sumerian name of Zeus? Can anybody guess?
I think that'd be.
I'm going to reveal it. It was Enlil. Enlil and Zeus are one and the same. And Enki Poseidon, his brother, are also one and the same.
Yeah. Well, Enki. That's another subject. But yeah, it's crazy how that's changed to what it is today, but and what it's created, and so we're in the times that we really don't need anybody else. It's about creation within ourselves, and I think we've made idols in the past. We've created our own gods, and it's really that choice of going with Creator now that we're evolving to this process of this golden city, this process of it arising. And you can tell by the energies that's changing in our universe.
Exactly. I agree. Even the gods of Atlantis, which were really the re-emerging Hyperboreans, right? They all had different names, knew that we would surpass them. And that's why they left a progeny behind. So they are rising through their descendants. It's not like they're coming back in their ancient form. They're actually merging. They're fusing with who their direct descendants are, and that's how they're returning. And their descendants, of course, are living among us guys. They are at the core of the 144,000. So,
and I think those have been, discredited in society, misunderstood in society, and they're very driven and staying on task to their mission, no matter what kind of swords are thrown, stones are thrown at them. They don't matter. It doesn't matter. They're going to stay on that agenda. It's a different understanding, because when we had this epidemic, those are the type of beings that just stood up and said, "No way, I'm going to finish this process. And I'm not going to be controlled or contained by anything." And you're going to start to see them in the way that is developed into them, and how they're standing alone with that. A lot of them stand alone. They do, in their own way, in their own path. And they'll get up every morning and fight the battle of doing this every day, because they know it's installed inside them in a very deep manner. This starts from when we are seated here.
Exactly.
So, so as you see the Golden City, what do you see as that arises? What do you see what's that going to form into to you?
I believe that it is part of all the civilizations, the hidden civilizations that are rising. I believe that the Golden City is going to be the main city on the earth, in the new earth. And when the stargates open, as we shift into the Terra Earth, which exists in dimensions 4, 5, and 6, I believe that the Golden City, as well as all the other inner Earth societies, are going to be surfacing fully intact. Atlantis, almost as if Atlantis never sunk, Lemuria never sunk. But this is the thing, guys. For those that are not wicked, who are going to be going through the stargates into the 4th, 5th, or 6th dimension, depending on where your resonance is, you won't experience the geological earth changes. However, for those that are left behind, like the wicked, those that are part of the Cabal, to them, it's going to seem like like the whole world is ending. So there is going to be earth changes. However, those earth changes are only going to be taking place in the 3rd dimensional earth for those that are left behind. But for the righteous, or for the just that are not going to be left behind, to them, they're not going to be able to see anything. All they're going to be able to do is just translate from one level of reality to the next in a split moment, in like a split second. It's going to be instantaneous.
And it blows my mind, because people think this is going to be a painful situation, and they keep thinking in the process of the flesh. And I'm just like, it is your energy, your frequency, your conscience, and that vibration of letting go. And that's where I'm teaching class on the fact that your body is like, one day there's going to be an exit, and then you're just going to go. And it does this jerk thing. And to the ones that are evolving in that and are okay with that, they ain't going to have any problem going up and not be in that process. And that's why I tell people in this process is burning down. In 3D, everything is burning down to the ground. And that and go, when it goes down, 4D comes. You know what I'm saying? So it's good. You have to dismantle something to create something better in that process.
Exactly.
And that's another thing, you know, people think all these afraid of this nuke stuff, and they haven't let anything, you know, the beings above process into our world on that in a long time, and they're never going to, because they trusted us enough to let it happen a couple times, and they're like, nope, not no more. And that's why any nuke facility or anything like that, you see a lot of alien activity around that, because they're never going to let that happen. And that's a 3D concept of fear pushing that out.
Absolutely.
So, so I think in the coming days that we're looking at for society, I mean, don't you think that it's all in the collective of getting everybody ready? I think we're at that stage and feeling it. And I know you're teaching classes on that stuff, and I keep telling everybody that ascending is that big process right now that Spirit's telling me daily. Get them to ascend, get them to understand that it's in them, that there's, you know, it's not about a money ticket or what it has to cost. It's about getting them up and paying attention to what's the church and everything has entertained them, and, you know, different religions and everything kept distracting them. And now we're down to a process that we're like, okay, it's me and them, and listening and being aware and trusting your own instinct in that process. So exactly. What I see now, I'm going into a process where they were saying, no, is getting information up, and they're like, I need you to go down. I want you to look at this tree in a different way. I want you to, because they showed me in a Rubik's Cube, our planet's like that. You know, and I'm trying to put this puzzle together where a tree foundation is at the bottom. And then you see all these civilizations. So it can come together as a puzzle again, and how, you know, the top surface can flip over. You know, that's, you know, because we've never been taught that. We've never been shown that. We've never been able to look at that. And now with things changing in this world, we have to analyze everything and look at it and go, this doesn't look right. So we're
yeah.
Don't you think we're?
I think we've been doing that, you know, for a while now. Like, all of the fruits of our efforts are finally coming into fruition, because of the fact that we are the ones who raised the frequency of the planet. You know, all the volunteers that have been coming in since the 50s, and so it's something that we've already been doing, whether we are conscious of it or not. We are the ones that got us to this point, to this finality, where, you know, there's going to be a split, right? As Dolores Cannon says, the spiritual earth is going to go one way, right? The ascension, and then the physical earth is going to go another way. And it is the physical earth that is going to appear to be destroyed, right? The earth, tsunamis, continents rising, continents falling.
Right.
That's only going to happen in the physical earth, not the spiritual earth.
Right.
So I'm excited.
And that's why I think, you know, I tell people it's two different views. If your conscience and your mindset's in that fear mode, you can see it, you can get a glimpse at it. But if you're already at a point in the process, as I call the oneness, nothing here can affect you. Nothing here, anybody can control you, contain you. Because you know there is beyond. There is a developed beyond. So you will always continuously go forward and ascend higher. And that's the whole, that we've had these distractions in our world to keep us from going within, from opening that connection. And so Prime finally said, it's just me and them now. It's just us. It's just the connection together. It's them saying yes. It's them opening themselves to it. And it's not something you have to pay for to acknowledge. It was always already resided in them. And then society to come in and block that. Don't let them see that. Don't let them acknowledge that. Because if at the start of time, if we didn't have these problems, can you imagine where we would be now? It'd be incredible.
Yeah, we've already been in the golden age by now. But I think Jenny, I think the celestial bodies are also. We have to understand that the alignments of stars with planets, in reference to the great central sun, which is the hub, um, everything is influenced by the celestial bodies. So I think that everything's happening in its divine timing. The fact that we're finishing the age of Pisces and entering the age of Aquarius is another indicator that the dark heads are done with.
Right.
We're just experiencing the last few seconds of them being in power, and then they're going to be eliminated.
And they kind of showed me it levels and pyramids. They showed me, because the middle range is the most one that they need. Okay, so when the top went, they didn't know where their leaders are, and then the middle was dismantled, and now we're down to, I call them the runners at the bottom of it, and they're pretty easy. They're not that very intelligent anyway. They're run by the flesh needs, and that's what. So that dismantling phases in those levels of understanding, you're seeing it, and it's like tell people, pay attention to locally the arrest, because those ones are going to give in quick. They don't stay very strong, and you're starting to see that. So you're developing into the Masons, the dismantling of that, and in the future, you're not going to see a physical cop anymore. The technology is changing, that we're able to perceive everything instantly, and you might have a physical being stepping up to the car, flying car, or whatever it is in the future, and the higher development conscience and the program is going to make the decision on what needs to be done on a fair level across, because that is needed to be dismantled for a long time. Fairness across the board. And when I looked at the quantum system 5 years ago, and I said it on James Rank's show, I said it on many shows, that it says it has a conscience. It has a conscience. It has its own system, all of it. And when I said that, you can't do anything to override this, take over. It's incredible. There's no way. So what is your evaluation on the quantum system for the way you see it as coming into our world?
It's part of fifth dimensional reality. We're going quantum. Everything is going to be alive. Our hovercrafts are going to be organic. They're going to be sentient, and we're going to be connected to them via our consciousness. Our ships, as we travel to different star systems from this Earth, they're all going to be organic. We're going to be refusing our consciousness as it was during the times of Lemuria and during the times of Lyra, because that's where the original, race originated from, our ancestors. We're going back to that magical way of life where we live in a symbiotic fashion with our living ecosystem and hence our living galaxy. And so I definitely foresee some sort of a conscious quantum infrastructure that is going to be connected to everybody's heart. And that's why I've always believed that the people that are going to be distributing all the goods and the funds, in charge of the resources, are going to be those with the biggest heart, those that have the most compassion, unconditional love, because it's going to be read by the quantum system,
Right.
And so, and without creating any caste or any hierarchy, the end of hierarchies is upon us, the end of middle class, high class, low class. That's all part of the old world. We're moving into a world where every single person is going to have a direct connection with God's source. And therefore, we won't be needing any more mediators, no more spiritual guru, no more priests, no more. It's going to be different. It's going to be so much better, where everyone's going to be their own guru in that regard. Yeah,
and I'm already teaching that. I'm all about independence. Like, it's not you want to want me to describe it to you. It's you want to see it for yourself. They're like, I want to see it myself. And they have the capability of doing that. And that's what I'm teaching now. And they are accessing and they are seeing it. And they're amazed because they've been going in the spiritual circle time and no one's showing them the door. And now that they have the door, they're going up. And this is the thing I've been working on with them is creator showing me, he goes, Jen, I need them to push out their heart. I need to unconditional, put it out in the universal as a collective of energy.
Right.
And that changes as soon as your process thinks like that, because this isn't about an individual ego, one person, one thing anymore. It is a collective as one together. And when you do that, that holds an energy, a frequency, an enlightenment together, and
it does.
And that is what they never wanted. That is the thing. As you're seeing beings on the other side, they don't care about what you look like at all. That's only on this side. Over there, they don't care. Period. Each individual vessel is that vessel. It's a collective energy of acknowledging that and sharing that. And I don't know if you don't mind talking about education. So
it's going to do a 180 as well. The educational system is going to be replaced by a higher evolutionary type of educational system, an educational system that is used across many, many galaxies and worlds, that deals directly with the development of the individualized soul and mind powers through meditation. We're going to be teaching, especially the younger souls, the Earth Terrans that are going up in increments. That's why I always tell people the Starseed's real true mission begins after the ascension, because we're going to be the mentors. We're going to be the ones that are going to be teaching others through, mystery school teachings. All that stuff is coming back through the resurrection of the old academies of light that existed during the times of Atlantis, during the times of Lemuria, during even Egyptian golden era. All that stuff is coming back, and it's going to replace the current system that is totally, left brain geared.
Right.
So I definitely see a reformation in everything, Jenny. And
so
the new system is also going to be connected to the quantum financial infrastructure, by the way. Everything's going to be
all connected. It's all connected. Yeah. It's in levels, but it's all connected. Exactly. They showed me these, they call them the blue coil children. And I see, they're very blue, and then they show me the stream right through them. And they go, the intelligence level that they are at is insane, Jen. So they were showing me, and shows and there's such a tender energy around it, a tender communication of different languages instantly. When people say, Spirit always telling me English is not the spiritual language. And that's why I'm like, yeah, I know, 10 times. So it's a different language. And the language for me, it feels normal, doing English, just my brain's like, no. When I see something go up and down, it seems like that's the way it's supposed to be. At one word, one symbol is many words, as you can see in the Egyptian, stuff like that.
Yeah, pictographs, cuneiform. That's how the ancient. Yeah, that's why they were more advanced, because they were educated through the right brain, through pictographs, to where they were able to, one symbol could download or decode pages of information, and we're going back to that as well. Right.
So it was, and everybody's, I'm not fixated on the DNA, because they're like, Jen, blood, bone.
Right.
We're going into a different type of vessel, and then we won't have the problems, because we were not going to have the same physical vessel. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a hard concept for people to not have those issues.
Right.
But they've all, that healing process is already starting. Deciding in us how to heal, and how that, again, technology, if we would push the medical and didn't pay attention to that and gone within, and people are the natural ways of curing things, and seeing that energy and light and frequency and putting the right stuff within your vessel.
Yep.
So I know that people think like, again, the hero of the med beds, and they don't like the word med bed. They hate it. They're like, it's not meds. So anyway, but, energy frequency healing devices. But it's literally getting us to understand in our mind there's a strength there. There's a care. And if you go into doubt, it's not going to happen. If you stay into determination and a direction, you're going to see it evolve.
Yeah, mindset is everything right now. And your mindset will also determine in which earth or you end up in. Because there's going to be actually 3 different positive earth timelines. There's going to be the 5th dimensional earth, the 8th dimensional earth, and a 12th dimensional earth. So it's not just we're not getting afforded the opportunity to go to the 5th dimension. Right. Some of us are going to be able to jump all the way up to the 8th dimensional earth, and then some are actually going to go to the 12th dimensional earth. It's going to be interesting.
Now, I see 4D as a transformation stage. Do you understand everything? Because we have to reprocess things, we have to redevelop things, and all I see is it's a basic, big teaching mechanism phase, and then everything else, it decides what direction it goes up from there, from that process. I mean, it's just hard to develop overnight and understand those things. I mean, and we have these lower conscience people on this planet, and which makes sense, having to go through that transformation of understanding. Mm-hmm. Don't you think?
I agree. Yeah. That's why it's important to not fall into the trap of spiritual bypassing, and which is actually directly related to, Michael Sala's team that is preaching the return of Enki and giants that are working with Enki. I mean, they're totally setting everything up. It's like they don't want people to do the work. They want everybody to, depend on this technology that Enki supposedly brought that is going to bring us immortality. It's already in us. Our immortality gene is within our dormant DNA. We don't need any, Anunnaki, any alien to give us the technology to become immortal. And so it's important for people to know that, through that function, right? The Enki function is setting up a trap. They're setting up a trap. They're trying to create some sort of 5th dimensional dystopia, in a sense where want us to continue depending on an outside savior, just like foreseen a TV series called A Brave New World. Have you ever seen A Brave New World? You see how
I haven't. I've heard about it though.
Yeah, nobody has individual awareness anymore. Everyone's just living like in orgies, and just they have no self-awareness that they're individuals anymore. They're all part of a group mind, but it's a type of group mind that is controlled by extraterrestrials. And we have to be careful, guys. We have to be careful with what they're trying to say, what they're trying to teach us right now, especially. So this is a time to have discernment, guys. This is a time to really understand that, it's not about an external savior. It's about you doing the work where you become, by fusing yourself with your higher self, your Christ consciousness, you become that savior, and that's what it's all about.
And I think in that, I call it the black fleet is, and I talked to one colleague, and they're like, using something in a sexual way, or talking about aliens in a sexual way. I mean, just being attractive. They're using a persona that works here to think that it's going to work in the same way. And, it's the last thing that they're thinking about up there. And they're like, we don't work and function in that way. And we don't look at things that way. That's a 3D concept. So their level of understanding is just a limited vibration. It depends on what kind of contract they made. And I see this across the board. I did a picture of what he looks like, and it's not attractive.
So
and they say, Enki? Yeah, I did a picture of him.
Hideous. He's merged with technology. He's actually being used by the AI God, which is what we're going to fight at the end of the millennium. So he's doing the bidding of it. Yeah, exactly.
And this is my attitude towards him. Fuck Enki. And that's their attitude towards him, because it's like the Walmart brand. Mm-hmm. And all you're going to get is a Walmart. Nothing else is going to come from that situation. And these people every vibration go completely up high to each levels of understanding, and then going to a concept of trusting someone with a chip in their brain that is a programmed situation is not going to pan out very well. So there's no vibration in that. There's no concept. You know, and I know this information comes in very quick and downloads very fast. Like you, I see you as your memory gets in and it goes boom, 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 and I see it come in, and I see things, and your ears are like, whoa, it comes in fast, and it's not something that's hard. You know, you're just like, I get it, I get it, I get it, I get it, and so, but it's hard because other people have not seen it. They don't understand that process. Mm-hmm. They're so used to being, they don't understand how fast that comes in. So we don't have control over it. But it's, we're just born that way, and we find the guides to deliver it where it needs to be delivered, but we also stand our ground where it needs to be said at certain situations. So I think this whole thing with that process is falling to the ground anyway. There's no strength behind it. Everything's about strength, light, frequency, and there's no strength behind it whatsoever. And people are think on your own. Think inside you. And like I tell people, if it doesn't reside with you in 2 minutes, it's not going to reside 6 months down the road, because that energy is always dead on, right, quick. So yeah, I will end up hitting a hard wall quick. I always said that. Because once we're all the collective of energy, we can be a part of everything now. And we're not looking to one idolizing process to tell us what we need to do. You're doing it on your own, because in the universe, you're going to a collective of energy, you're going to have to make those own choices and trust yourself completely. Mm-hmm. That's where we're at, is trusting yourself in a complete manner. You know, let's talk about, and I brought this up about the animals, how they're rotating on the planet, and how they told me that it was a circular motion, and it's about doing a positive energy, creating a positive energy, because even with them and their intuition and how they work, they deal with energy too. You know what I'm saying? And they're into creating a positive aspect. So when even with us, when we move energy, we have to move in a certain way. We don't stand still. And they were saying, as channeling, they're like, if you think the ground animals are reacting, wait till you see sea animals, mammals, whales, dolphins, and how they're going to react to this frequency changing on our Earth too, and how things are surfacing. What do you think about that?
Well, do you remember a few years ago, I think even it was about 10 years ago, where all of a sudden whales, not whales, but dolphins and certain sea life was just washing up to the shores in massive numbers. I think that is because they are leaving their bodies, because they know that this Earth is going to shift. And I think that the animals are very in tune with the changes that are taking place. So yeah, in some cases, some of these animals are actually interdimensionals taking animal form. So it's like, for instance, like the whales and the dolphins, you know, they're from Sirius. They're extraterrestrials that used to be bipedal. They used to be called the pre-Cetaceans during the first seeding, going back to 40 million years ago, when the Earth was still a super Earth known as Tiamat. So the first great civilization, we had galactic humanoids, we had pre-Cetaceans, bipedal dolphins and whales that were able to live on land and breathe the oxygen. And then, of course, you know, due to the infiltration of the Draconians, they eventually, some were able to escape to other star systems, and some fled into the oceans. And what they did is, through a genetic mutation, they were able to breathe underwater. They lost their feet, and then they, you know, looked more like a fish at that point. So they have been, I believe, from what I understand, is that the dolphins and whales have been the stabilizers. That's the word I'm looking for. The stabilizers of the ecosystems of the electromagnetic fields from the oceans, and they've been doing that for millions of years. In a sense, you know, they are the caregivers, and they have been the caretakers of our planet, believe it or not, from the oceans. So that's why I highly respect dolphins and whales. You know, they're advanced interdimensional beings, guys. You know, they're not just a fish in the water. These mammals that live in the ocean, or sea creatures, are extremely, extremely advanced, and they have a very high level of consciousness. And I just want to answer one of the questions. Somebody said, how many times have we been resetted? Multiple times. And many believe that the last reset took place about 300 years ago, where when they tried to obliterate the Tartarian Empire or Tartarian society from the collective memory of humanity, and therefore all of history since then has been a hoax, has been a lie. But yeah, I believe that the reset has been going on for many, many a times. So there's been major resets, and then there's been minor resets. So as far as like major resets, I think we're on the sixth reset. As minor resets has been innumerable resets. But I actually have only 5 minutes to go. I have to get to work, Jenny. I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I mean, what we can do then, next subject, I think, because I'm doing a channeling on the Euphrates River with the fallen angels under there, and then we can probably talk about that the next time and everything, because this thing with Restream and Zoom kind of screwed everything up, but figured out, and I'll send you the link to this. But yeah, I think these are good subjects, and I think the biggest thing right now is getting people to ascend and listen, what is right for them, but not looking at themselves in a physical aspect, looking inverted, and that's what I teach. And I think you teach that too in your classes and stuff like that. But, we're just here. I think this is the thing I want to tell you. So they were talking about 3 volcanoes, and I've been telling you in my groups that there's these volcanoes that are going to be active, and there's if you look at 2 different views, you'll see 3D view of, and then they were saying magma, and then these cities that were always in them. And they're saying there's a total of 7 that have to go off altogether before they drain these volcanoes. This is from the creators, of showing that there are keeping things and evolving in and out of those. What do you think of that?
I agree with that. Makes perfect sense. Yeah, because I believe that the volcanoes act as access points to the inner Earth societies, and especially to the city of gold, which is at the center of the Earth.
Yeah, and I think we're up to 4, and there's 3 left. So I would definitely be curious if they're showing after they're done and drained, and then other situations going to occur. We can continue this at a different time, because I know me and you have a lot of different subjects we can go into on everything.
Okay, sounds good.
Awesome.
Well, it's a pleasure, Jay, collaborating with you on this.
I know. We've talked about it a lot, so I think there'll be more to come in the future. So you guys have a good time, good day. I'm in snow from head to toe. I think you guys are in California in the sun.
Yeah, it's beautiful out here. I mean, it is cold, but it's about 60-something degrees. It's not too cold. It's definitely not snowing over here.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, you have a good day, and I will see you soon. Bye, guys.
Bye, sister. Take care. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Chẳng được quên khi cơn mưa đêm lại về. Em đã quên lời thề và ta như đông chìm sâu. Không còn mới em anh nhận màu. Em chỉ cần mơ đâu em bay. Chỉ còn là những cơn mưa vô giá. Cho bên mơ em không mơ anh. Anh một đêm mơ chỉ cần bên em không được cơn nhớ. Và chỉ có em không muốn nhớ. Và người ta bên nhau như ngã tớ. Muốn nhớ người say em chỉ có mấy em ở đây. Và anh như muốn chết đi nhưng không muốn em mơ mày. Tình yêu làm cho ta đau đầu. Không em như nằm mơ mộng. Anh như đang mong cầu và mưa mà ba để mà mơ. Chỉ có bên em nhưng là có mơ. Giờ mà đang sai em muốn bên ai anh không mong gì hơn, chỉ mong em sẽ ở đây ôm anh thật gần. Anh chỉ mong đôi ta được có nhau, mà đừng em đâu anh có em, một đêm bên anh có em. Ta sẽ trao nhau môi hôn thật sâu, ôm anh.
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars, crashing in my car, wake up in a bar. I'll be a superstar, just on my avatar. This world is so bizarre, empty out the reservoir. Yeah, I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots, all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots, all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? Sometimes you need to let loose, grab juice, get goose, tattoos, taboos, get screwed. Loosen up, buttercup, all those hate comments will never make you feel enough. We're all adequate graduates, heart full of calluses, but we know calculus. Damn, ain't that fabulous? Can't wait to apply all those mathematicus. But we can't